Hello everyone, this is an account of my journey to Sierra Leone and my time spent there helping the Waterloo Hospital. On the first Sunday there was a beginning of the year outing for the hospital. The person who is in charge of getting the venue kind of messed up, and so unfortunately the whole beach had been reserved by a different group. Luckily we found our own beach, which wasn't as nice as some of the others, but because of that we had it all to ourselves, which was quite nice. There were several events lined up for this outing, the first of which was a soccer match between the medical personnel and the non-medical personnel. Unfortunately, the medical people won, because since I'm a non-medical person, I was rooting for the non-medical team. The Africans here love to dance, and that brings us to the next event of this outing, which is probably one of the stranger things I've seen. It's called the bump contest, and it consists of the larger ladies of the group having a dance-off, and then there are judges that are watching the event, and they figure out who the winner is. Even though it's a contest, it's not as much of a competition as it is everyone having a good time. After the bump contest was an eating competition, which, judging by what I saw, I think I definitely could have won. After watching the events and going for a swim, it was time to go home. And here you'll be able to see the local mosque. You can find these all over Sierra Leone because I think about half of the population is Muslim. I'm first starting to look into graduate school applications in these 2 weeks, and here you can see what the heat does to a medical item. Here is the current state of the store, and something that we have way too much of is 20 ml syringes. I think I counted once and it was in the thousands. I'll take you all here on a quick tour of the store. In these cubbies here are syringes and needles, all kind of sorted and organized based on what they are and what size they are. On my immediate right we have such things as gowns, face masks, head covers, and then drapes and extension sets and adapters. Then ahead of me on the right we have suction tubing and yanker tubes and a whole bunch of resuscitation supplies, including face masks and oxygen tubing and nebulizer sets. Then on the left is miscellaneous things, lab supplies and physiotherapy supplies, and then we go into the cold storage. Even though it doesn't look like it, I've put a lot of work into this room. It was empty when I got here. Here we have the glove section, both disposable gloves and surgical gloves. This is something that the hospital is always short on, and people are always asking me for, which is quite a nuisance, and I wish we would have the money to have more gloves. In the middle we have dentistry supplies. Even though the hospital doesn't employ a dentist, we are trying to get one here. And then we move into the special dressings, such as oil immersion dressings and honey dressings and silver dressings. For now I've just kind of piled the normal dressings and bandages and rolls here. I'm kind of in between trying to figure out what to do with them and where to put them. This rack is for urinary catheter supplies, which is also something that the hospital seems to always be low on, which is definitely not good. One time a nurse had to use a glove instead of a urine bag. Then we have liquids such as povidone iodine and irrigating solution. This rack is dedicated to irrigation and drainage supplies for surgery. These kind of things can be the difference between life and death for a patient, and I'm pretty sure that there have been patients that have died simply because they couldn't find the right inventory in the store at the time. On this rack there are a couple different things, including anesthesia kits and tracheostomy kits, and then at the back here there's a whole bunch of different miscellaneous stuff. This rack is dedicated to sutures such as Prolene, Vicryl, Monocryl, Chromic Gut, and such, all organized by the different sizes, 0, 10, 20, all the way up to 80. The rest of this stuff is kind of miscellaneous stuff that I haven't figured out where to put it yet. And then this last shelf is for the mobile clinic, which is kind of its own department that goes out and helps people in the more rural areas. This big pile of stuff is items that I need to ask a doctor about so that I can identify them and know where to put them. But since the patient-doctor ratio is so high here, I haven't been able to get a doctor up to the store and question him about some of the items. There's something fishy with the electricity here because sometimes, and only sometimes, I will get electrocuted by my charger for my laptop. I have also even gotten shocked by the different docking stations while my laptop is charging, such as the USB input. Here we have Sabbath lunch, and when me and Julian make Sabbath lunch, we make it pretty good, at least for Sierra Leonean standards. I found a very unique grasshopper the other day, and so I thought you all might like to see it too. I don't know why it's shaped like that, but it looked kind of cool. One of the things I haven't encountered yet is a snake, which I am hoping to see before I leave here. I hadn't gotten any packages for a while, and then suddenly the mailman brought 7 of them, which was a nice surprise for sure. Here you can see the tons and tons of stuff that the student missions office and my mother was able to pack in these packages. And here we have some of the highlights that I am especially excited to receive. Pictured are the food items that need to go in the fridge, and then we have the food items that don't need to go in the fridge, and finally the items that are not consumable. Here we have the menu for the one restaurant in Waterloo that for sure won't get you sick according to Julian. The problem is that most of the stuff on this menu you can't actually order because they don't have it available. And sometimes when they say they do have something available, they don't actually, and then you'll have to order something else.
We can present this to the staff of the year 2018, and not to any other person but Mr. David Bangura.
And finally, during the second church service of these 2 weeks, there was a 2018 hospital staff award service.
As best hygienist of the year, Who don't want to think say that? John 1, John 2? John 1. Exactly. On the boat from Zambia. Best contract staff of the year 2018. Now, Mohammed Kabo. Best volunteer of the year 2018. Brother Moses Songa. The best theater staff of the year, Elizabeth Dankwa. Best maintenance staff of the year 2018, Mr. Mohammed Bangura. Best security of the year, Mr. Albert A. Cole.